From then on, Matsumoto visited the compound regularly to check upon the men of the Shinsengumi. Ever since Sanon had become the leader of the Furies, the group was named as the Fury Corps. Still, I couldn't help but wonder, was it really alright to continue researching the Furies? My heart was heavy with worry. Without him, the Shinsengumi would be nothing. We would cease to exist. If so, why? But why? Going to a new month? Yes, it is October now. After all those shenanigans. After the dust cleared, following the Hamaguri Rebellion, the Shogun set about cleaning house. The Choshu expedition was launched by the Shogun once the Choshu domain were declared enemies of the court. Perhaps feeling they dodged the bullet, the Choshu domain fell silent for a time. Their obedience was short-lived, however, and before long their disrespect for the Shogun became impossible to ignore. In order to investigate further, the Shogunate decided to send an envoy to the Choshu domain. Kondo was asked to accompany an envoy sent to the Choshu to investigate their behavior. However, the Choshu domain refused to even meet with the envoy. Fed up with their insubordination, the Shogunate ordered the second Choshu expedition. However, the war was a costly one, exhausting both the resources and the men from all over the domains whose morale began to falter. To add to the fire, word of Shogun Iemochi's passing shook all of Japan, and some domains even withdrew, which made the situation even dire. The second Choshu expedition had ended in a surprisingly major loss for the Shogunate troops. October 1866. The pillar of the Tokugawa shogunate, which stood strong for 260 years, was beginning to show signs of instability. Must be nearly notice board time. Commenting Saito. Oh, this is where we meet, I almost said Oko-san again. Why do I think of Sen as Oko-san? I'm sorry, Sen, you do not resemble a pigeon in any way. Sen. We meet Sen. Our good girlfriend Sen. Who helped us out a lot last time, actually, which was really nice of her. Was not expecting that. Alright. Where are we now? Ah. Well, look who it is again. And we'll skip through this. As much as this is entertaining as well. Take care of them, Shinpachi. Okay, and now they're going to talk about the notice board, so we can skip through that. Soon we're going to have to make our choice. Yeah, okay. Here it is. Alright, definitely the notice board. Just as Hijikata predicted, a few days later, the order came down for the Shinsengumi to guard the notice board. All divisions not on regular patrol rounds were directed to take turns on guard duty. The first day was quiet, and the men on duty spent most of it simply standing around.
Oh, man, I'm sleepy. Hey, you're becoming a real schlub. You need to sharpen up, man. Oh, come on, give me a break. Pulling an all-nighter at Shimabara is one thing, but standing guard for a goddamn board all night really sucks it out of me. Man, I hope something happens today. So, who's in charge tonight? Oh, it's your division, right, Sano? Sure is. I will discharge my duty with honor and enthusiasm.
Just then. Oh, hello, Ito. Hello to you too, Miki.
Ah, why hello, you three. Oh, pardon me. Were you in the middle of using this room for something?
Ito and Miki enter the room, followed by a bunch of warriors from the Ito faction.
What's the deal with all these men behind you? Are you up to something here?
Oh, me? Oh, well, I was planning to have a debate session with my comrades, the topic being the subject of the new debate. Would all of you like to join us as well?
Huh. You sure are a snide one, bro. There's no way in hell these guys would have read the 4 books and 5 classics, let alone be able to participate in any kind of debate.
Oh my, what could have possibly gotten into you, little brother? Please, excuse him, my dears. I apologize. Darling, seems like this room is already in use, so let's find another place for us to flock.
Yes, please flock somewhere else. Ito and his men went back out into the hallway and disappeared. As soon as they were out of sight, Nagakura's face warped.
Boy, up to his usual pain-in-the-ass antics, huh? I know. He's gathering men and having secret meetings. Who knows what goes on during those meetings? I still don't get why Kondo and Heisuke brought him here.
It wasn't just Nagakura and Harada who didn't seem to like Ito much. I had heard plenty of the other captains and even some of the soldiers talking about him in less than glowing terms. There was no way Ito himself hadn't picked up on it, but he seemed to have larger concerns in his reputation, and had devoted his efforts to increasing his power base within the Shinsengumi. Always 5 steps behind, Mr. Takeda. Oh, hello, Takeda.
I believe Ito and his men were here moments ago.
Yes, they were just here. They went off to another room to have some discussion or something.
What? Another room? Oh, I told them to notify me when they have their next meeting. I wonder if they're doing this on purpose so I wouldn't join.
I wonder. Takeda muttered to himself and he went out of the common room.
What was that all about? I bet you anything he wanted to be Ito's lackey, but Ito isn't giving him the time of day. Seems like Takeda doesn't really have much of a place for himself here as of late.
After Harada said that, he suddenly got up.
Well, guess it's time. I'm off.
Oh,
What, you want to tag along? Probably not a good idea, kid. Those demons are still after you, right? I can't take you out on the streets at night.
aw. I suppose you're right. All the sitting around all day started to make me chafe. I wanted to help somehow, but Harada was right. If I went with him, I'd just end up getting in the way. Well, please be careful, okay, Harada?
Sure thing. Thanks.
Say hi to my brother for me. That night, they struck, or tried to. 8 men from the Tosa domain challenged Harada and his division by trying to tear down the notice board. The fighting was furious but short. Harada managed to capture some of the perpetrators, although some of his captives later managed to escape. Harada and his division were honored by the Aizu domain for their service to the shogunate and were given a reward. When he was asked how the captured men had managed to escape, he simply replied, "It was too dark to get a good look," and said no more. Suspicious. Well, time to go drinking. Several days had passed. I accompanied the captains to a meal at Sumi.
Well, I'll be damned. You really did it, Sano. And to think you want to use that reward money to treat us all to some good food. Well.
If you're going to suck up, you might at least try to mention how he actually got that reward.
I'll get to it. I'm just so touched that he's gonna pay the bill, I think I might cry. Tonight's on Sano, guys. Drink as much as you want. Forget your problems. Hey, don't go nuts, alright?
Thanks, Sano! I'm gonna drink myself stupid! Good job, Heisuke. Not everyone here can drink, you know.
There's more to do than drink, you know. Eat, for instance.
Yeah, guess you're right. Hijikata, don't hold back. Drink all you want, okay?
Oh, well, sake...
What? Please, don't tell me the commander of the Shinsengumi can't drink any alcohol.
Damn you. You know what's up and you're doing this. It's so obvious.
I wasn't sure if it was alright of me, as a woman, to be joining them. But it was an incredibly rare opportunity for me to visit Shimabara. I guess I could enjoy the festivities while here. Well, look who's all dolled up. Thank you for visiting. A geigi in a beautiful kimono stepped through to greet us with a smile that was both dazzling and demure. Her skin was as white as porcelain with soft red highlights. Her lips looked soft and full, and her hair shone in the light like yards of fine silk. For a moment I stared in awe of her beauty, my own sex forgotten. Something flickered in her eyes, but it was gone almost immediately. Then she smiled, and it was like watching a flower bloom. I am Kimigiku, and I will be entertaining you tonight. Please enjoy yourselves. Food will be arriving shortly. Ooh, look at all that food. Indeed it had, and once the food had arrived, the party truly began.
Man, expensive sake is way different. It goes down so smooth.
You haven't even touched your food, Heisuke. If you drink on an empty stomach, you'll get drunk before you even have a chance to enjoy it.
Whatever. You know how often I get booze this good? Never. Filling up on food just be a waste of stomach space.
You sound like a bum. Just drink up.
Hey, just because you drink like there's a hole in your stomach doesn't mean the rest of us can.
You having fun, Chizuru? It doesn't look like you're drinking much.
Oh, I can't drink, so I'm just enjoying the food.
Oh, right. Well, make sure you eat a lot of it, then. We're here to have a good time, so it'd be a damn shame if you didn't have fun.
Thanks. Still, it was the first time I'd ever eaten anything expensive. Although, to be honest, I couldn't taste much of a difference. Awkward. I've heard rumors that the men of the Shinsengumi were like demons or monsters, but from where I sit, you look a good deal more handsome than that. Almost like an actor.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
Oh, Toshi. Kimigiku and Hijikata chatted easily while she poured him his sake, looking almost too beautiful to be real, like they'd stepped out of a painting.
Still can't believe they gave all this cash just for protecting a board. I mean, hell. Imagine how much you would have got if you caught all of them. How did they get away, actually? You said there were only 8. That should have been pretty manageable.
Yeah, what's up with that? I mean, you surrounded them, didn't you? How'd they get away? And how'd the guys you actually caught escape?
Harada fell silent, his face slipping into a frown. He stayed that way for a moment or two. Then looked inexplicably at me.
Chizuru, did you go anywhere that night?
What? I hesitated, unsure of what he was getting at. No, I didn't go anywhere. Why?
You're sure? You didn't go anywhere that night?
Yes, I'm sure. I've never left the compound alone ever.
Hey, what's wrong? Maybe it was just a mistake. There wasn't a moon that night. It was dark. No. No, I saw her up close. There's no way I made a mistake.
Harada? What are you talking about?
Well, you see, after we'd surrounded the Tosa men who tried to take down the notice board, this girl showed up. She looked just like you. Got in our way. Because of her, our whole formation fell apart.
What? The whole room went silent. Harada just spoke above a whisper, but each of us could hear him perfectly. A girl who looked just like me?
Well, like they say, shit happens. But tonight Sano's paying, so let's drink till the sun comes up.
So seconded! Time to find out just how much of this stuff I can handle!
In just a few minutes, Heisuke and Nagakura had the party back in full swing, but I couldn't get my mind off what Harada had said. Then, what had he seen? I felt... Well, perplexed led to Toshi, so let's try strange. Strange. What would you call something like this after all? A ghost? No, I was still alive. Was it some sort of astral projection then? Could it be that girl I ran into months ago? Whatever it was, there was something out there that looked just like me, causing trouble. It was depressing.
Look, I'm sorry about that. I shouldn't have said anything. It's not like I think you did it or anything. I mean, why would you? It wouldn't make any sense.
No, it's not like that. I'm fine. Please, don't worry about me. Uh-oh. Oh no. Pardon me. I'm allergic to astral projections of myself. Ahem. I know for sure that I was at the temple that night. Besides, I don't think I could even get to Sanjo Ohashi without one of you guys. Aw.
You're telling me you still haven't figured that out? And you've been coming on patrol with us for how long?
Well, a long time, yes, but all of the streets look the same, and there aren't any landmarks to help me out. You don't think it's hard to find your way around Kyoto?
Yeah, guess it would be kinda silly to think you'd actually got it figured out yet. Well, it's been 3 years since you came to Kyoto. Shouldn't you have gotten used to it by now?
You think so? Aw, man. I'm not good with directions either, Chizuru. It's okay. Just then, a thought struck me. Oh! Heisuke.
Yeah? What's up?
Do you think maybe the girl Harada's talking about is the one we met? You remember? Her name was Kaoru. We met her when we were out on patrol with Okita. Good job, Chizuru, you remembered. I'm so proud. His eyes.
Oh, yeah!
He smacked his leg heartily as if he remembered.
Soji thought the two of you looked like twins or something, but I didn't really buy it.
Oh. He was right. In fact, Okita had teased him mercilessly about it. Perhaps it didn't mean what I suspected it did. I was deep in thought when Harada spoke up.
What are you talking about? She's someone you know?
Not really, no. We met this girl on patrol. Soji thought she looked just like her. I didn't, though. I mean, it was hard to tell. She was dressed like a girl.
That was true, too. I'd been disguised as a man, but Kaoru had been wearing a woman's kimono. But did Heisuke only think we didn't look alike because of how we'd been dressed?
I don't know about this girl. But I do know that Heisuke doesn't exactly have a good eye for ladies.
Oh, poor Heisuke. Why don't you ask Soji? He's right over there.
What? What do you mean by that?
Harada shot back a clever retort, and then they were off, bickering playfully back and forth. I watched them yell and gesticulate, but my mind was elsewhere. Perhaps my face and Kaoru's did look similar, or even the same. But if it had been her, then what was her purpose in impeding Harada? Anyone who lived in Kyoto would have known the Shinsengumi and what that board represented. I felt Harada's hand on my shoulder.
Well, they say that there are 3 people in the world who look like you. So I'd say it's a little early to nail her down as the culprit, right?
I didn't know if there were really 3 people out there with my face, but he had a point. To all appearances, she was just a normal girl. I couldn't imagine someone like her deciding to mess with the Shinsengumi and then just disappear into the night.
Yukimura, tell me more about this girl.
Alright, the bean's on the case. Oh, well, while we were out on patrol a while ago, we met a girl named Kaoru. She looked a lot like me, and, Saito listened quietly, but looked up into my eyes when I finished, his face tense.
This can't be coincidence. We should find and question this girl.
But she didn't look like someone who would want to harm the Shinsengumi. Or even could.
Appearances mean nothing. Are you sure that was the first time you met her?
Yes. Okita thought she looked just like me, although Heisuke didn't agree.
And you're sure you have no relatives in Kyoto? It's hard to believe such a similar face is just a coincidence.
No, I don't have any. My father never told me I had any either. If I had relatives here, I think my father would have told me to contact them, not Dr. Matsumoto.
I see.
He didn't look entirely convinced, but apparently I've said enough because he asked me no more questions. He'll ponder for a bit.
Well, now that we've had enough to drink, I think it's time for the main event. Yeah, go for it, Sano. I've been waiting for this all night.
Do I actually get to see this time? Oh my god! What kind of party trick involves you taking your shirt off? Excuse me, do you have tearaway pants as well? Like, what's happening? I need some water after that. Okay, I'm fine. We can get through this. Whoa, look at the scar on his stomach, though. Wow. Holy mackerel.
Right on. Alright guys, pay attention. This stomach is not a common run-of-the-mill stomach. Oh no, for this stomach knows the taste of a blade.
The now quite drunk Harada pulled open his shirt with a lopsided grin, pointing at the ugly scar across his belly. The Oiron feigned polite interest.
Hey, that's nothing to brag about. Some punk said you were just a thug who didn't have the balls to cut himself open and you just had to prove him wrong, didn't you? Of course I did. I'm a man. Gotta defend my honor.
That wasn't real smart, Sano. What were you gonna do if you actually killed yourself?
Well, I figured I'd cross that bridge when I got there.
But if you died, then you wouldn't be able to really cross any bridges, no?
Then I won't think and I'll just go ahead and die. I mean, a samurai is always looking for a way to die. Or not. Well then, to honor your, honor.
Oh my god! Why is this a thing? I'm so glad this is a thing! You guys are like 5 years old. From out of nowhere, Nagakora produced a brush and its accompanying ink and began to draw on Harada's stomach.
Hey, what do you think you're doing?
You kind of like slapped him away before he got that far.
It's such an amazing scar. You're really lucky there, Sano. You treat it good. Maybe someday it'll give you a bunch of little baby scars.
Oh my god.
It's a scar, you idiot, not a girl.
Oh man, I can't take it! Every time you talk, it moves! It's like a mouth!
Apparently, this was hilarious to Heisuke, who cackled uncontrollably, hands wrapped around his stomach and face red with mirth. Oh, Harada. The three of them cavorted and tumbled around the room like children, and in spite of myself, I began to laugh. How can you not? The party lasted until morning, or so I heard. I'd left before it ended, for reasons of my own, but I heard plenty about it later. There was a lot for me to worry about, not the least of which was my possibly evil doppelganger. But I found it impossible to feel sorry for myself amidst all that good cheer. Fair enough. I think the image of that face on Sano's stomach would drive the worry out of anybody. Evil twin or no. December 1866. I was sweeping a section of the compound despite being nearly frozen to the bone. Well, that should do it. I wanted to help out as much as I could, but since they still refused to let me out without an escort, there wasn't a great deal I could do. Still, I helped clean our home, and that felt good. Hopefully they'd like it too.
Cleaning, I see. You're certainly hard at work.
Oh, hello, Kondo. Is this about the potatoes? I think it is. Yeah, potatoes. And there's a new shogun now. Alright, and then Lord Yoshinobu died. Or not Lord Yoshinobu didn't die. He took over and then the Emperor died. So there's turmoil afoot. But now it's March. April 1867. By now, I'd welcomed a few winters since coming to Kyoto, which, unlike Edo, was prone to snowy days and freezing nights. However, compared to my first experience with winter in Kyoto, it seemed like I had finally become accustomed to it, taking it with aplomb. Winter was coming to an end, and now the bright side of spring began to bloom around the city. Woohoo! Phew. I paused to wipe the sweat off my forehead, and took a moment to survey the hallway I had just finished mopping. It was nice to have more space, but it made cleaning the headquarters that much harder.
Yukimura, what are you doing?
Oh, hello. Sitting in my room is so boring, so I thought I'd come out here and clean the hallway.
Oh dear, that hardly seems fair. You're not even a soldier, but you're cleaning up after them?
It's fine, really. You've been taking care of me for months now, but I haven't done anything for you. Kondo smiled, his kind eyes crinkling at the corners. Then he seemed to remember something, and his expression turned serious.
Right, yes. I've asked Dr. Matsumoto to look into Koto's disappearance and his whereabouts, but...
Oh, good! Has he found anything out?
He's gotten in touch with all of the loyalist Western doctors, but it seems none of them know any more than we do. If he's contacted them all and still turned up nothing...
Kondo left the words hanging in the air, and his face scrunched like he tasted something unpleasant. As I looked up at Kondo, I recalled a conversation I had in the past. Maybe it really is true that my father is in the West. He seemed to notice my expression had darkened and began to speak again.
Well, even if he is collaborating with the nationalists, we still can't know what his true intentions are. It's entirely possible that he is being threatened or otherwise coerced into doing work he finds repugnant. And besides, his knowledge of the Furies has already proven very valuable to us. I promise I will do everything in my power to find him. Of course, we have no intention of killing him.
He sounded honest, but it wasn't that easy to simply forget my concerns. I still have a lot of cleaning to do. Sorry. I couldn't bear to stay there and talk about my father, so I excused myself and left. Afterwards, I couldn't focus on searching for my father, and depressing days continued for a few days.
Oh, hey, perfect timing. I wanted to ask you something, Chizuru.
Oh? What is it?
Do you know a girl named Sen? Saito seems to think you do.
I do. What about Sen? Remember Sen? Sen was a girl I had met a short while ago, whom I helped in a surprise encounter. Saito would know, since he was present at the time. Since then, I would chat briefly with her, or greet her if I bumped into her during our rounds. Well, that's nice. She was one of the very few female acquaintances I'd met in my time in Kyoto. She's a lovely lady. So I do happen to know Sen. Did something happen with her?
Huh. Well, I ran into her on my rounds today. She said she wanted to talk to you. I know they won't let you out alone, so just give me a second. Gotta take off my blues first. I must leave. I've been assigned the night shift today.
Oh, okay. They nodded to one another and then headed off in different directions. Is Harada escorting me to Sen? What did Sen want to talk with me about, I wondered. In a few moments, Harada returned and we left the compound and entered Kyoto. Chizuru! I turned to see her waving at me from a short distance away. Hi, Sen. Long time no see. I had a chance encounter with some of the warriors earlier, and I asked after you. I had to know if you were all right. Really? I'd been under the impression that she had something to discuss. But from the way she was talking, it sounded as though she had only inquired as to my condition. I looked at Harada, who coughed quietly and looked away.
She said she wanted to talk to you.
His voice was a low mumble. I wasn't sure if Sen had heard him or not.
Oh, why don't you say we have some tea just over there, Chizuru? They have the most delicious odango.
It was the tea house we'd visited together before. She was correct about the quality of the odango, but... I glanced up at Harada.
Why don't you two go on ahead? I'm sure you've got, like, girl stuff to talk about.
I guess?
I'll just go grab a cup of tea somewhere.
Thanks. Then I think I will take you up on your offer, Sen.
Excellent. Shall we?
What do you want to talk about this time? Sen and I made our way into the tea house as Harada wandered off. Aw, what a nice picture of you two! Girl talk at the tea shop.
So, how have you been, Chizuru? I imagine living with all those men can be difficult. If anything is troubling you, please never hesitate to tell me.
Oh, well, I had only seen her a handful of times since coming to Kyoto, but she knows that I'm a girl, and she treats me like one, so I can't thank Sen enough for that. I really appreciated it. Actually, I wanted to ask you, how did you know I was a girl the first time we met?
What? Oh, well, I just knew. I mean, we're both women after all.
Oh, really? Huh. I didn't really get it, but then again, it wasn't like I'd been in a situation where identifying disguised women was required.
I hoped I might ask you a few questions. I apologize if I seem blunt, but how old are you, Chizuru? Where are you from?
I think I told you that last time, but as I began to talk, I felt myself begin to open up to her. I told her I was born in Edo, and my family name was Yukimura. It was just my father and me, and he ran a Western clinic. We talked about the fashionable kimonos and accessories that were popular in Edo, as well as all of the foods and sweets that came from shops. It was so fun to speak with another young girl around my age about, well, nothing really.
The Shinsengumi's reputation certainly isn't pleasant, but it seems some of them are rather nice.
Huh? She nodded pointedly toward Harada, who we could see standing a short distance away. Oh. Isn't he beautiful? He was leaning against a post, his sharp eyes constantly surveying the area. There was something graceful about his profile. I couldn't look away. Sen leaned over and whispered in my ear.
I didn't think I would actually get to see you, but when I told him that I knew you, he said something very interesting. I believe it was, she's been real down in the dumps lately. You think you could hang with her and talk about fun stuff? It might cheer her up.
Really? Did he really ask her all of that? Aww. If so, he was much more perceptive than I've given him credit for. And the idea that he had done it just for me made me feel warm inside. Aww. Oh, that's so cute! My heart!
What's going on? You guys done talking?
He seemed to have noticed we were looking at him. Yes! I scrambled to my feet. Thanks, then. Sen is best wing woman.
And I should be off as well. I have other business to which I must attend.
Okay, thanks for everything.
You're quite welcome, although I've hardly done anything worth being thanked for. And you, young man, thank you as well. Good day.
With a final polite bow to either of us, she turned and walked off with dainty, ladylike steps. I still didn't actually know anything about Sen, but talking with her had left me feeling a great deal better.
Well, looks like you're all done, so you want to head back to the compound, Chizuru?
Sure. Can we thank him?
Dang, it's almost dinner time. Time sure flies, huh? I think they might be short a few hands, so you think you might be able to help out with cooking? I feel bad giving you all these chores, though.
He started off towards his room. Oh, wait!
Huh? Something wrong?
You're really nice. I don't know which one of these to do. So, like, if we're saying you're really nice, do we just mean that he was really nice to take us to Sen? Or that it was nice of him to talk to Sen? If I say, do I look unhappy, does that mean that we acknowledge the reason why he took us to Sen? I mean, maybe we should go the direct route and just call him out? I don't know. For some reason, I'm like leaning towards the unhappy one. I'm gonna try it. If we don't get a moon, we'll go back. Thanks for taking me out to talk to Sen today. But did I really look that unhappy?
Huh?
She told me what you said. That you asked her to cheer me up since I looked down. If I didn't know better, I would have sworn Harada blushed.
Aw, man, really? Can't trust anyone to keep a secret, I guess.
I'm sorry if I was worrying you. I thought I was hiding it pretty well. Aw, that blush, though. I looked down at the floor, embarrassed, but then I felt one of his hands pat the top of my head. Hey, moon! Hooray.
Come on. There's no way you can hide that. Anybody can see how hard this is for you.
Is that because I'm still just a kid?
Huh? Well, you're not an adult.
Aw. He said it as a joke, but it still wasn't the answer I'd hoped for.
Oh, does it bother you? Being a little immature isn't always a bad thing, you know. A little bit of vulnerability and innocence always makes a woman much hotter. Go on.
I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Look, there's no point in trying to keep everything bottled up. Just accept who you are. That's the mature thing to do.
He patted me softly on the head again, then stepped into his room and shut the door.